And welcome back. I'm the Dr. Bob Lee. And our next guest is working to empower young women and minorities economically. It's a great thing. Through her organization, Seeds of Fortune. And she joins us today to discuss her details. And we welcome Nitiya Walker. Nitiya, we welcome you to the show.
Thank you so much, Bob. It's great to be on the show today.
Nitiya, through Seeds of Fortune, you've helped minority young women earn upwards of $6 million in college scholarships and grants. Talk about it.
Yeah, so I started Seeds of Fortune back in 2014. We had a cohort of three young women, and I started Seeds of Fortune because we really wanted to economically empower young women of color. I was a high school senior, and I didn't want to go into debt to go to college. And I had encountered this young woman in my Girl Scout troop that got $150,000 to go to Spelman College. And she had informed me that her mom had taught her how to get scholarships to college.
Yeah.
So I worked with her mom for 4 weeks in the summer before my senior year, and she helped me to package myself for scholarship organizations. And by the time I got to undergrad, I really started to see like my peers be affected by the student loan debt crisis that was happening even all the way back in the late 2000s, and they had to actually leave their university and go back to the city to be able to finish out school because they couldn't afford to stay at their college. And I was like, well, what if I never met that young woman who taught me how, that young woman and her mother who taught me how to get scholarships for college? Then I would have been at a disadvantage as well. So I went back into my community. We started with three girls, and now we have about 77 to 100 girls that have been impacted by our program over the last 5 to 6
Yeah, all
years.
right. Congratulations. Yeah. And you've been doing it for how many years now?
We've been doing it for 6 years now.
There you go. $6 million, 6 years. There's something to it,
Yeah, definitely.
huh? What are some of the other concerns that the people are calling you about?
So, especially during the COVID-19 crisis, there's just so much transition in the education system and also higher education. We have a lot of, so our program went from a 2 year high school preparatory program to a 6 year program where we support
Yep.
our alumni into the university and we stay with them until they graduate from college. So, we've had two graduating classes already graduate out of college that started the
All
program
right.
when they were about
Okay. All right. I'm loving it.
yeah, so they were around 15, 16 when they started the program, and now they're like 22. But for our college students that are still currently in the program, a lot of them were rushed back home after the whole COVID-19 crisis happened. The colleges shut down their dorm rooms and things of that nature, but it also has affected the high school pipeline into to college because now a lot of financial aid packages are delayed. There's a lot of renegotiations. Parents have lost their jobs. So maybe they could have afforded to send their child to a college before, but now they can't. So really trying to teach our current class how to appeal to the colleges for more money, how
Yeah.
to really be able to advocate for themselves to make the college experience affordable. Every year, we're able to take in about 20 scholars. This year, we increased our ability to around 30 to 40 scholars, but we got 155 applications to our program. And we're like, well, what do these are amazing young women and they all have the ambition to go to college. Like, we should really find some way to still be able to support them, even if they can't be a part of our scholar cohort.
Yeah.
And we have been brainstorming even before COVID-19 to start this college prep online network. And it'll be the first one for young women of color to be able to connect online, share resources with one another about college prep and college access. But they'll also have a mentor online that will kind of guide them step by step through the college application process. So we're really excited about that.
Who would have thought everything online, just about, right?
Almost everything.
Oh, wow. So you have to, I mean, we have to do it. You have to continue to do what you do to help other people get what they need out of life and help them through their education. Uh, what other changes have you seen, or maybe changes that you can see to help our youngsters?
Yeah, I think that we have to kind of reevaluate the higher education system process in general. A lot of colleges are kind of afraid, especially with COVID-19, to like open back up their room and board campuses because even though the virus might decline. You never know who has it. Everybody's coming from all across the country. New York, we know specifically, has been impacted really badly by the epidemic. So you just never know. It might slow down, it might pick back up. So there's a fear around bringing the students back on campus. And now everybody has moved to online learning. So this should make it more cost effective for students to be able to afford college. In the United States alone, there's about $3 trillion of student loan debt that is carried currently right now. And there has to be more effective ways for people to gain access to higher education that's not so expensive. And with everyone moving to, almost all colleges moving to online learning for this
And
spring semester.
yeah, and people, they ridiculed that at one time. Oh, you got your degree online? Oh, here it
Right?
is. Here we are.
And everybody's online now
Yeah.
learning and just trying to adapt to that environment, but also creating the economies of scale that will make it more affordable for students to be able to pay, because a lot of times students might get they have FAFSA that will cover their tuition. New York State has a great program under Governor Cuomo that was launched a couple of years ago that allows all New Yorkers, households that have $125,000 to be able to go to college tuition free. So that's through the CUNY system or the SUNY system. And that is helpful. But if you want to go away to a SUNY school, which is one of our state universities, upstate, Long Island, you have to pay room and board, and room and board itself is almost about $10,000 to $15,000.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's like, you got accepted to the school, you're excited. The Excelsior Scholarship is the one that helps to cover the tuition mandated from the governor. But then it's like you can't even still go to that university, because if you're a parent making $50,000 a year, 15,000 is a lot of money to be able to try to support your child through college.
Yeah, it's a chunk out of your budget to do that. So yeah, then you come in, and your organization helps out with a lot of that stuff. Let me ask you a question. How does you or your organization feel about opening up things at this point? Do you think it's a wise thing?
We are still a little hesitant to open things up yet, because there's just still a lot of deaths happening. There's still a lot of uncertainty about how things are happening. We have our signature college prep boot camp that usually happens for our in-person scholars program, and we have decided to take that semi-online as well. Our gala is supposed to be in June, our annual
Oh,
gala. I know, it's supposed to be June 13th. We've actually decided to also
we're
take
gonna
that
come.
online.
We're gonna come
You
to
gotta
one.
come. Yes,
We're gonna come to
come.
one,
Yes, it's
even
gonna
if
be
it's online.
online.
We'll try to
It's
come online.
online.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be great. But I just don't think we're quite yet, especially in New York, because we live so compactly next to each other. I don't think we're quite ready to just roll back into our day to day the way it was prior. And
Yeah.
and everybody's household have been affected so vastly depending on where you're coming from. We particularly, our program is for young women of color, and the minority community has been impacted more severely than other communities in New York. So we're trying to be mindful of that. And we feel like, just to keep things certain, that moving everything mostly online for at least this first half of the year is going to be probably the way to go until things kind of cool out.
And finally, what advice do you have for students worried about what's to come?
I would
Worried about
tell
the
them, yeah, I would tell them that it's all about being agile. It's all about taking advantage of the moment. I would say for them to go back to the colleges, if there's colleges that they really, really want to go to, renegotiate with them. Let them know that this is the first choice that you want to go to. Your parents are having hard economic times. How can we make this work? They really have to start to advocate on their behalf in the
come.
future, because of the climate that we're living in. It's going to be really important for them to be there, for their voices to be heard even more now than ever.
And it should be cheaper now that it's online. You don't have to physically occupy a dorm or
Yeah,
anything like that.
you
So
don't
they
have.
should take account for that.
Yes, they should
Take that
definitely
into
take
account.
into account for that. We've heard from some of the universities that they're even thinking about keeping it online for fall semester,
Yeah.
bringing the students back in the spring semester or staggering them to come in class by class. in the fall semester so that there is less risk of any of the viruses spreading. But I think that at the same time, there needs to be a rethinking. And I think that this just sheds a lot on the bubble that was bound to burst on the higher education system and its affordability and access,
Nitiya,
especially people of color.
yeah. Nitiya, what's your website?
Our website is www.seedsoffortune.org. If young women would like to be a part of our college prep network, it's for 10th through 12th graders in high school. They can go to www.seedsoffortune.org/network.
Nitiya Walker, founder and executive director of Seeds of Fortune. Thank you so much. Nice talking to you too.
Nice talking to you as well.
Stay safe. We love you. And thank you for your service. All right, we'll take a
Thank
break
you.
right here. You're welcome. We'll take a break right here. I've got more coming up next on Open.